Hey everybody, look what we have here. So this is the decorative onlay that John from Arkansas, Joe or none, it has to replace the opposite side with on his radio that he's refinishing. I believe it's Award's Airline. And if you watch John's videos, you saw that he has one side, but he's missing the other. And the other side is really just a mirror image of this. So through the comments, John asked me if I would help him out and make one of these on my 3D printer. Of course, for John, I'll do anything, almost anything. And John sent this to me, and we're going to go ahead and design it and see what we can come up with. So I'm going to take you along for that ride. I'm just going to show you how I do it, and maybe you're interested, maybe you're not. If you're not interested, that's cool. So let me show you where we start. Okay? Back in a moment. Okay, so the first thing we have to do, first of all, I traced it here, and you can see I've got it penciled out. First thing we have to do is we have to measure it, and we have to know what the dimensions are, right? So I'm going to use this dial caliper that does work in millimeters and inches. This 3D printer operates in millimeters, so we're gonna measure in millimeters. Let's turn it on. It's all set for millimeter right there. The first thing we're going to do is we're just going to see how tall is this thing. I don't know if you've ever used one of these before, and this doesn't have to be exact, but we want to know that we're close to the mark. So we're going to say this is 35 millimeters from top to bottom. So we're going to come over here, 35 millimeters. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to measure from this point here to the top. So we want to know approximately how deep it is. So we're going to do something like that, 26. And if we come over here, oops. If we come over here, we've got 24. So we're going to go with 24. It's right to this point. And we're going to stay with 24 here as well, because this thing is flat. Next thing we want to do is measure the thickness. How thick is the piece? And we're about 5 millimeters. And then I think that's really all we need to get a prototype started. So we've got 35 top to bottom, 24 side to side, and 5 millimeters thick. Okay. So let's go look at our CAD program. I use a program called Tinkercad, which is online. It's free. And we're going to see what we can do and get one of these rolling. So let's get that set up. Okay, so we're in Tinkercad, and this is a movable platform. This lets you design stuff. And it's tinkercad.com. Now, I'm fortunate that this piece almost looks like a letter C. So I'm going to choose from the side text, and let's see if we can find something that looks like a C. Now up here in this box it says the word text. We're going to put a C there. It's got a font and it's got parameters, height, bevel, and segments. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this and move it, the whole piece, over here. And we are going to tip it down like this so we could see it. Okay? Now, we know that from top to bottom we need 35 millimeters. Right now it says 32.47, so we're going to say 35 millimeters. We know from side to side that we need 24. Right now it says 24. And then we know our height needs to be 5. And right now it's set for 10, so we're going to make that 5. Now, look how lucky we are on that. Look at that piece. It's almost exact. I don't have to do a darn thing for this. There's the piece, like that. It's exactly what we want. The only thing we're missing is the beveled edge. All right, this is not a flat piece, it's beveled. Now, I was experimenting with this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to recreate that on this. There's a bevel setting here. I don't know what that means. it looks like it makes the piece bigger. So I'm not gonna mess with it. I'm gonna at least try it without the bevel first. And then, you know, what I want to do here is I want to make a copy of it. Okay, we've got it now. So select our object. We're going to hit the duplicate and repeat tool, and we are going to hit this mirror tool up here. And then what we have to do is, if you see right there, it puts a little ghost of the object. And if you click it, there it is. Okay? Let's check the dimensions. 35 and 24. Perfect. Now, the way that we have this laid, oop, I just hit something. Let's undo that. Okay. When you send this thing to the printer, you want the pieces to be as close together without touching. And the reason why is as the head, the print head moves from here, it'll stop, and then here. If you have these things all over the place, it's going to take a lot longer to print. It's going to go zzz, and you're going to have a space, and it's going to zzz, and it's going to do that for the entire life cycle of the object. So you want to put them as close together without touching. That's important. So these are our pieces, like that. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to export them. There's an export button up here. And we're going to create an STL file. And it just saved it to my computer. It's an STL file. And now we're going to come over here. Okay, here's our printer program. And I'm going to walk you through it. This is a new version, so it may take me a couple of minutes to figure out where all the options went. But we'll get there. So it wants me to log in. And we're going to look for our printer. And because I'm using the printer wirelessly, I have to turn on my wireless. Has to be on the same network. Okay, there we go. Oops. Let's go back here. And it's going to look for our print. Okay, I think we're ready to go here. We found our printer right here. So sorry for that delay. And it tells us the environment variables. So the bed of the printer, which I'll show you shortly, is 28 degrees centigrade. The extruder or the nozzle is 26. Filament we've got in there. And we have to do a couple of things here before we send it to print. So first of all, we have to load the piece. So let's figure out how we do that. Import. And we called our piece right there. And there's our piece right there. There's our two pieces. Now, let's get some information about how we're going to set this up. So nozzle temperature is 200 degrees. Infill density. We want this thing to be completely plastic. We don't want any spaces in the middle. It'll conserve space if you use like a honeycomb. We want this thing to be solid. So we've chosen 100% infill. From a infill type, we're just going to choose rectilinear. I'm sorry. Layer height, first height, thickness. I think that all looks good. Okay, I think we're good there. And then speed and things we don't have to worry about. And I think we're going to say prepare. So what it's doing now is it's preparing the image to be sent to the printer, and it's now going to go over to the printer to be printed. You can see there's our two pieces. And we're going to click the print button. I just heard the printer beep, which means it got the job. So we're going to stop this video here, and then I'm going to go over to the printer and show you what happens there. Be back. Alright, here's our printer, and it says right now that it's initializing. So what it's going to do is it's going to take that platform, got a piece of something on here, and what that is blue masking tape. You put that on the platform that heats up. This way when you get the piece off, it can stick. So it's going to raise that bed up, and it's going to heat it, right? 210 degrees we said? So we're going to have to wait for this thing to heat up before it starts printing. But it will do it. And You can see the nozzles coming over. You can see it right there. There's the nozzle. And what it's doing now is it's going to heat up. So you'll see that the nozzle itself is 58 centigrade. That's not good. It needs to go much lower. So we're going to wait for this to heat up and it'll start printing, and then we'll show you. Alright, still waiting. Our nozzle is 165. We need to get it to about 220, I believe. And our platform is not even close yet. That's got to be heated up too. So what it does is it heats up the bottom, that platform there. Alright, and as it squeezes out the plastic, that platform needs to be hot, so it sticks to it. So we've got a way to go yet. Nozzle's doing good though. Alright, our nozzle's where it needs to be, but the platform's still 75. It needs to go up to 200 and change. Alright, we've got contact. So it's just started building, and you'll see that it'll take about 24 minutes for this to get done. So what it's doing right now is it's drawing out the foundation, I hope, of the two letters on the platform. And you're really not going to see anything until it starts to build it up a lot. So we'll come back and show you what that looks like. Here's a look down from the top. You can see it's putting down just the faint foundation of the letter right there. See that? That's how it does it, layer by layer. And make sure we fill it in 100%. Just like a robot. Hopefully it'll be the right size. Alright, so we're going to let this cook, and I'll be back. Now you can see we start to have some pieces here. They're skinny, but they're there. And that's what will happen is this platform will continue to drop down as it builds a piece. So we're getting something. If it's the right size. This may be our final one, or maybe just a test one. We'll see. From a timing perspective, it does recalculate itself. And we now have about 32 minutes left. So we're going to let it keep going. It's 33% done. And you'll see here it says we have 10 minutes left. Let's take a peek at how we're doing. We're doing real good, actually. We're probably up at about 4 millimeters right now in height. And we need to be at 5. So we got a little bit more to go. It's doing a really good job of filling inside. Let's see if I can show you a shot from the top. Okay, there's our piece. You can see it's pretty solid. I think the biggest challenge for this is are we going to be able to get it smooth enough that it doesn't look like plastic? I know you could sand this stuff. That's why I had to use 100% fill, so it doesn't break down. We'll find out. Yeah, that's looking good. Alright, we're almost done. Be back. By the way, you see what I mean about putting the pieces close together? That head has really no travel required. This makes it so much faster. So it's working on that piece, and then it'll go over to the other side and do the other one. It's just like a robot. Well, our piece just finished, and what's happening here is it's lowering the platform. It's a worm gear, basically. And it's going to lower that platform as it cools off. And it's still pretty hot, 76 centigrade. So we're going to let this completely cool. If I try to take it off now, what will happen is the piece will bend, right? And it won't be flat because it's still hot. So we're just going to wait it out. We're going to let this platform drop all the way down here. We're going to let it cool off, and then we're going to remove it. And you have to remove it with a paint scraper, believe it or not. It's the only way to get it off because it's adhering right now to this blue painter's tape. So that's where we are. Let's see if I don't have a light. Let's see if I can shine a light in there and show you. Here's our pieces. That's pretty good. Okay, our pieces are done. It says we can remove it. This is always a little bit tricky. Let's see if we can get them off here with one hand. If not, I'll put the camera down and come back. Let me put the camera down and I'll show you. Okay, our two pieces are done. They removed. Just had to put a little brute force to get them to pop off of that tape. Let's see how it measures up to the original piece. And if we look at this, the original piece, the wide end is on the bottom. Make sure we got these flipped over correctly. Size is great. Can't tell. So I think the job on this thing is going to be trying to get them a little smoother. But there is a little bit of texture up here. I'm not sure how it works when you sand these things. I've never done it before. But I think we've got at least something we can put up there. These can be painted. It's ABS plastic, so they can be primed and painted. I think we did okay, and they're nice and solid. That I could tell you. I mean, after all, we did 100% solid infill. So there you go, John. We've got your pieces. I think they go something like this, if I recall your video. And I think we're good. So we're going to get these out to you. I was going to try to take a Dremel and bevel these things out, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to let you do that. And if I have to print you replacements, no problem. I've got everything set up at this point. So I'm going to let you decide how you want to handle it, if you want to keep them square, if you want to knock the edges off a little bit. And of course, I'll send you back this one. But pretty cool, right? It's not exact, but it's close enough for rock and roll, as they say. All right, so I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, let me know. And if not, everybody have a great day.